My name is Presley.
And I'm Robert England's pubes.
Ew. And this is
the height of horror. I want to get into this immediately because all the Letterboxd reviews, I didn't check IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes. None of them bring up, hey, you see Robert England's pubes in this movie.
I know, and that was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
His whole character.
Wowzers.
I hate it.
Like his pubis, it's like in 50 Shades of Grey, how you see Dakota What's-Her-Face's pubes.
Fanning.
No, it's not Fanning.
No, I know. I'm just kidding.
Dakota Gray, I think, is her name.
No, it's not.
Yes,
Dakota
it is.
Johnson.
Oh, there. So you knew.
I did.
And
the
you
whole
said
time.
Fanning. Dakota Fanning's too classy. She's never shown her pubis on screen.
No, she has not.
At least to my knowledge.
No, she played a weird character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, though.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Oh my fucking God. Put it on your list.
I think I've only seen Kill Bill 1 and 2. Those are the only Tarantinos I've seen. See,
I was in the same boat as you because I always equated them to movies my dad and my brother liked. And I'm like, I don't think I'll like any of them. So I just recently watched like Inglourious Bastards, Django, Reservoir Dogs, and I've watched them like 15 times in the past year.
Okay.
And a half. Well, actually 3 years. What the fuck? It's time.
All right, okay.
So do it.
I'll check them out. I'll check out Kill Bill Volume 2 and then 1, and then go back to Volume 2.
Good plan.
You want to know? I'll have Ian re-edit the Kill Bill to be Memento style, so it's the scenes in reverse.
Okay.
Have him do that.
It's like a new movie that way.
Yeah. He's not doing anything.
He's not. He's just watching a child.
He's not busy.
He doesn't do things.
Yeah, he does. He's so busy.
Is he, though?
Yeah, I was going to say we also see Cardellini Bush in this kind of, sort of.
I know. And then we see her go potty with a, what's that called?
With a catheter.
Catheter. I was going to say urethra, but I think that's a part of your body.
The catheter is pushed in through the urethra.
There we go.
I am so glad that all of this was framed in this was ahead of its time with torture porn, but it being framed in torture, there's nothing erotic about this movie. And I'm so glad because in order to get things done, I have now cut out sugar. I only take 1 day a week off. I work out. I do have an eating disorder. And I've also added on, James, only masturbate 1 day a week. And I would have struggled if it's like Cardellini boobs on screen, but no, they're being like jammed with spikes and stuff.
Yeah, it's not. I think you would need to see a therapist if you were just jerking it.
Or I would be a teenager of like, this is the only thing there's nothing else on the internet because it's 1998.
Yeah. Fair enough.
There was one other thing. Oh, yeah, she's Hot Dog Water in Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. Check that show out.
Hot Dog Water?
There's a character named Hot Dog Water.
That's fucking dumb. Have you watched the new Velma also, by the way?
So the first 2 episodes of Velma are trash. I think they suck. And it is a surprise that I think Nicole was just like, should we keep going with this? Let's watch the third one. And the 3rd episode is such a drastic improvement from the first 2. Because the first 2 are cringy, they blow. Velma still is like an unlikable character throughout this entire series, but the actual jokes are funny now. And I'm enjoying it much more. I hear that it's getting a 2nd season to everyone's surprise, which my guess is they had like, oh, we'll pick this up for 16 episodes, but say it's one season, even though we already know we're getting the other 8.
Yeah.
But I would say if you're trying to get a Hanna-Barbera fix, you can skip Velma. Watch Jellystone, the Yogi Bear Hanna-Barbera collective. It is so good. You have children, right?
No. I'm a child-free woman.
Watch Jellystone with them. It is an all-ages show. You will laugh at it, and your children will laugh at it.
Cool. All right.
2 thumbs up. But speaking of media you've consumed, there's been 14 days. Another name for that is a fortnight. It's a fortnight of horror.
Did you watch anything?
Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to go first?
Sure. So I only watched one movie, but I feel like anyone in this world should watch it. You're not all gonna like it, but it's on Shudder, and it's a Native American horror supernatural alien thing, I'm assuming.
Ooh.
It's called Slashback, and it takes place in Alaska, and it's Inuit teenagers, and they're kind of fighting an alien invasion in their little hometown.
Oh, that sounds dope.
The first like fucking 30 seconds, I was sobbing because they do this like traditional throat singing in that part of Alaska where they're from. And like the movie opens with this song and someone's like throat singing, and I just like started sobbing because like I know what that is. And it was just, it's beautiful. It's chef's kiss. Ian was like, is this in outer space? Because the surrounding was just like so beautiful and like watery, and I highly recommend it.
I'll
Even
check
if
it out.
like, I think it's going to be like odd because the acting is not great. And I think a lot of people went into it wanting to really like it, but I think it was like low budget, kind of not great acting, not great effects. But if you're native, fuck yeah. And if you're not native, give it a shot.
Well, a couple days ago, I was watching Invisible Mom 2. So when it comes to acting, I will literally watch anything.
Fair enough.
And speaking of acting, not really bad acting, but hey, we have one take for this, or the director saying, go crazy. Sharknado 5 Global Swarming is, I think, the best one in the series. We watched that last Friday, and ooh, baby, it's good.
I can't believe there's a 5. I can't believe there's a 2, let alone a 5.
We're watching the 6th and final one tomorrow as of recording. And oh man, there is a part where Tara Reid's character has had body modifications. She's kind of an android cyborg right now. And she picks up this like long shaft thing. I don't remember what it exactly was. And they need to like get up to somewhere. And she like picks it up and she starts spinning. And I was like, Nicole, is she going to become a human helicopter? And then all of a sudden she starts spinning around, and the screams that she does in this movie are just like, ah. And then she becomes a helicopter. But then later on, I was like, wait, I thought she had like jetpacks on her. Wait, yeah, she does have. Why wasn't she just a jetpack in that moment, not a helicopter?
That sounds ridiculous.
It was. And then the other horror movie, like tangential horror movie, it's kind of like a slasher exploitation film, Miss 45.
Oh, I know what that is.
This was a movie that I was like, Nicole and I, we don't like our revenge movies. It's just like, usually it's too gratuitous, the R part, and then sexual assaults.
Yeah.
And Miss 45 starts out with not one, but two back-to-back from different people R-wording this woman. And then it's like, no, get out of here. And I say for this movie, fast forward to around the 30-minute mark, and then it is a romp of a woman who has this done to her, and she kills the second person. And then she has the gun from this guy, and the next man to like startle her, she like shoots. And then she just goes on a killing spree of just shooting men, and it is badass.
That's awesome.
But yeah, the first like 10 minutes you can skip over.
Okay, noted.
And it's I think 80-minute long movie, so then it becomes a 70-minute long movie.
Well, I really do like, if this says anything about me, I Spit on Your Grave.
When I said, oh yeah, I'm going to bring this up on Height of Horror, but I feel like this is going to be a movie when I bring it up, Presley's going to say, oh man, I fucking love that movie. Because you probably will.
I've never watched it.
It's on Peacock right now.
Cool.
So check it out, guys. But would you like to get into today's subject?
I really, really would.
We are discussing, let me just pull up these notes. October 2nd, 1998's absolutely not an amusement park-centered horror movie, Strangeland, because, Presley, I knew absolutely nothing about this movie going into it, so I thought it was an amusement park thing.
Oh, shit. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, the covering, like the whole, like, the cover of like the DVD or whatever is Linda with her fucking mouth sewed shut. So
I've never seen it.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
I truly went in completely blind. I didn't even do my notes, the like trivia notes before watching it like I usually do, because I'm like, I want to be as fresh as possible, and I knew nothing.
I fuck with that.
But this was written and starring Twisted Sister's Dee Snider. It was produced for $1.1 million, around, that's an estimated one. No official figures have come out. And it made $713,000. From the internet, directly quoting Wikipedia, it states, the film has a strong emphasis on modern primitive subculture and its ethos of spiritual transcendence through painful rites, showing several of such different practices therein. Accordingly, this is how you know, like I would never say therein. I would say theremin maybe, but that's besides the point. Accordingly, this movie needed more theremin. If you're doing a spooky movie, get these distorted guitar riffs out of here. Drop D? No, give me drop wee theremin style. Accordingly, a large amount of dialogue of the film's villain concerning his personal philosophy are paraphrases or direct quotations of Fakir Musafar, the father of the modern primitive movement.
Shit, yeah.
I'm glad that like this man is directly quoting another man, because it felt like Dee Snider just watched Hell on Earth, Hellraiser 3, and it's like, oh, and he just said, let's do that.
I could see that.
The film's conceptual basis has its roots in the fourth track on Twisted Sister's 1984 release, Stay Hungry. The song, entitled Horror Turia, in parentheticals, the beginning, ... a colon, A, I guess there's like two sides of this. A, Captain Howdy, and B, Street Justice. This tells the story of a sadistic child murderer named Captain Howdy, who ultimately walks free on a technicality and is then avenged upon by an outraged mob of parents. Now, 1984, you see that. Oh, wow. That's when Nightmare on Elm Street came out. This song came out 6 months before Nightmare on Elm Street, but that would mean this is in production. It's already probably being filmed when this was released. This song, Nightmare on Elm Street, is being shot. It's just parallel thinking, which is also crazy that he's like, hey, let's do this as a movie and let's get Robert Englund to play one of the parents this time.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. The setting of the film takes place in the fictional city of Helverton, Colorado, and was filmed in the Colorado Springs and Denver vicinity. And then the scenes with Charlton Hendricks rehabilitated and wearing a cardigan were the hardest parts of the movie to shoot because Snyder hated wearing the cardigan.
I hated him wearing the cardigan.
Yeah, he looked like a nerd and a half.
That fucking wig.
Yeah, it was real bad.
I hated I hated everything about that.
He looked, I think, more terrifying like that than Captain Howdy.
For real. I would have preferred the other one.
Like if he had, in the second half, went murderous just dressed as that, I think it would have had a better effect.
Absolutely.
And it would have been less makeup because he spent several hours getting all of that, because all the tattoos and all the piercings besides the septum piercing were done via prosthetics.
Really? His nose is like that gauged?
No, it's like that was like slightly big gauged, but not the industrial sized gauges that. No, it's as big as normal people get it. And then they just like made it look bigger.
Yeah. All right,
let's get into some quick reviews. I just have 4 of them and they're very short. The first one is 3.5 from Keith. They state, her reading an AOL user bio. This is a character speaking in the movie. This is why everyone likes him. He's a cool guy. Then this is what is stated on this individual's profile. Screen name, Captain Howdy. Hobbies, street hockey, snowboarding, going to concerts. Occupation, student. Quote, hey bud, where's the kegger? If you were to see that, would you be like, this dude's a cool guy?
Yeah, probably not.
No, not at all. Like, especially dude, where's the kegger? Or hey, bud, where's the kegger? And I don't know, like just putting going to concerts, that's like lame-o stuff.
I know. Like when me and Ian met, we met on Tinder.
Ooh.
And the only reason I swiped right on him was because in his little bio, it said he loved horror movies. And that was the only person that I saw. Because I was on Tinder for a long time. That's how I met my previous ex-boyfriend. And I was just like, all right, no one's ever had this. And then that's why that's our love story.
That's crazy how more people wouldn't have, hey, I love horror movies.
I know. That was the only one. And I swiped for hours. So.
And their review quickly goes on saying, absolute peak of terminally inept late 90s, early aughts new metal cinema. Must be seen to be believed. This is my Queen of the Damned.
Oh, that's also a phenomenal movie.
Yeah, my ex loved that movie and introduced me. And then I'm like, wow, Comatose has sampled pretty much every song in here. Dick gives this 1 star saying, tinsel, comma, butt munch, period, tinsel bomb, exclamation point.
Fair. Understood.
1.5 from Dash Coom, which I'm guessing that's Dash Cum, baby. A Cenobite gets kicked out of hell because he won't shut the fuck up, and all the other pinheads think his thick Long Island accent spoils the mood.
That's fucking funny because his little monologues he does are so dumb.
Mm-hmm. And then 0.5 star from Meg saying, there's a whole 2 minutes of some guy just explaining how bod mods work to 2 cops unprovoked.
Yeah.
I'll say, I've never written so many notes for a first scene in a movie than I did for this one. Because did you quote, when was the first time you saw this movie?
I was probably like 10.
Did you and your friends quote this movie a lot?
I watched it by myself. I was on Sci-Fi, and I'm like, I kind of felt like icky watching it.
You should.
Yeah. So, and I was young, but I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Because there are so many like dumb quotes in this of you like hip hop, love it, or you're really going on a blind date with a screen name? That's insane. And then Linda Cardellini responds with, oh, but we'll meet, fall in love, get married, and have cyber sex. Which is like, why were you having cyber sex with your spouse? Even though I think everyone should. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I noticed that too. But like one thing that has been a reoccurring theme in all these movies we've watched is the weird openings. Like, you know, when it's doing all the directed by the cast members, it's always like a long, like 2-minute opening of just random shit. I
think because we have done a lot of lower budget movies, and that's how they pad the runtime.
That's fair. Like that makes sense.
The aforementioned Invisible Mom that I was watching, the first, I think 3 full minutes is just this like, it's looking like clouds, and all it is like pumping fog onto the ground. Then you make the fog, instead of rolling on the ground, you flip it upside down so it looks like clouds. And it's ominous. This isn't what Invisible Mom or Invisible Dad's about, but both, or I think all 3 of those movies have the same exact opening, which is that fog rolling in for 3 minutes, just saying like, directed by this person, starring these people. And it's truly just to pad the runtime. Yeah, no, I literally wrote ominous openings. That's my first note. Insane. I was expecting when it gets to D. Snyder's credits, I was like, please don't say written for the screen by. It just seems like some pretentious stuff would have rolled in, but luckily it was just written by. Yeah. So when Linda Cardellini and a friend, they go to meet Captain Howdy, or you bring us through the plot. Okay, well, it opens with these 2 90s chicks. Like, let's appreciate their makeup for a second. Just super 90s as fuck with the frosted lips. So they're chatting online, and they're in a fucking chat room. We've all been there. Did you ever catfish people in IM chat rooms, like on Yahoo or AIM or whatever? No, I was constantly trying to cyber other people, so no. Fair enough. Okay.
So they get catfished by this guy whose screen name's Captain Howdy, and he's like, "Oh, my parents are out of town. Let's have a party." So they're like, "Oh, fuck yeah!" And then cut to the next morning, and it's her parents, and they say, "So and so didn't come home last night." I forget her name.
Linda Cardellini. Oh wait, no,
Linda Cardellini.
Genevieve.
Genevieve did not come home last night, and they're like, "Okay, well, whatever. She's probably with Tiana." She was not with Tiana because Tiana's parents call. And just for my notes, I have to mention the mom is from the movie La Bamba, and the dad is from this movie that I fucking love. It's called Knockaround Guys, and it takes place in Montana. But that's just fun little facts. They're from movies, I know. Okay, you can go a little bit now because I don't know where to go from here.
So they're like, "Oh, where is she?" And this man's a detective. Oh, wait, no. First we see it flashes to Linda Cardellini running out of this house, but then gets like beat down and like her face is dragged on cement. I hope that wasn't real cement because it's like, well, or they had some padding on her face for the movie magic of, actually they would have had because it brings blood behind and they probably had like a pack of blood to squeeze blood out. So her face wasn't actually getting hurt. So yeah, good. Movie magic. Linda Cardellini's face isn't just on cement being dragged. And when it flashes to the basement, she says, "Try not to speak." And it pans out and her lips are sewn shut. And I audibly went, "No!" Because I didn't know anything about this movie going into it. I'm like, no, it's not going to be like one of these. No. And I'll say when we see her like pee with the catheter and like all this, like that sunny Christian lady with like spears stabbed into her, I watched this at 7:30 a.m. That's when I started it. So by the time it got done, it was like near when Nicole's alarm would be going off. And I was so afraid Nicole would get up. Because I'm like, I don't want the first thing for her to see is like a woman with like a bunch of huge needles stabbed into her. I was prepared to quickly say, "Nicole, don't watch." And then she'd be like, "Are you watching pornography on the big screen?" And I'd be like, "No, this is the opposite of that." But we get to the detectives. He's at work getting coffee and his partner is an irredeemable douchebag. He should have been punched immediately because this detective's like, "Hey, my child was kidnapped. Would you like to help me out?" And then the guy pretty much says, "I'll do it later."
Yeah.
Like that's an immediate like, "Oh, do you want to know what? You fucking go home. I am going to handle this to a T and keep you updated when necessary. But please believe this is my only priority."
Yeah.
Like, even if you're not a detective and your friend's kid gets kidnapped, you say, "Hey, I'm going to take point on this search and rescue party. You relax and stay here in case someone calls."
Didn't they say something about like, "Oh, it hasn't even been 48 hours yet. Fuck do you want us to do?"
The FBI clerk library place, because this is pre everything being digital, so things probably would have had to been like photo scanned and copied. So I think the guy's like, "Oh, it's going to be like another 48 hours. And then the detective or the partner who's like, "I'm finally going to be responsible here," is like, "It's already been 48 hours. And in 48 hours, that's going to be another. So how about you get your ass off there and start faxing me documents?"
Yeah.
I already said the D. Snyder Hellraiser 3 thing. Thoughts on Hellraiser series? How many have you seen?
Not any of the newer ones, but all the older ones.
Okay. So like the first 8?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I think the first.
No, we did watch the newest one on Hulu. We did watch that one.
I still need to watch that one.
Oh, it's a movie.
I hear mixed reviews about it.
I wish I didn't hate it. I really didn't.
I love the first 4 are great. And then the 8th one, Hell World, I for some reason loved. I think it's because the 5th, 6th, and 7th one sucked so hard that I just, when I got to the 8th one, I'm like, "Oh, this is a breath of fresh air."
Yeah, fair enough. And then they find the car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they get that bitch towed out of the water. And then he's like, "Oh, this is Tiana's car," which I'm like, how did you not realize that? You had to look inside the car to realize it was her car? Whatever. Then they open the trunk and then they're like, "Ooh, she's all fucked up." And then they flash to her face real quick and then it's all sewn shut as well. And her eyes are really bulgy for some reason.
I think that's just maybe the water.
That's what I thought too. Yeah, and then they find this big fucking nose gauge.
Yeah, and this man starts saying like, yo, man, that's an industrial size. And I'm like, what? Is this another detective who's all tatted up? Or maybe he's an EMT? No, he's the wrecker guy. He has a tow truck.
Tow truck, yeah.
He just starts explaining. And the nerve of this partner of our main detective man, we'll call him Detective Daddy. He's like, oh, what makes you the expert? And it's like, dude, look at me. Also, I'm giving you actual information that will feed into your investigation. Also, like, go to this club. This is your job, to collect information and use that to solve this case. You are inept. Get the hell out of here.
I felt bad for the tattooed guy because he's just like explaining himself like it's self-expression. And I'm like, you've gotten some shit for those, haven't you, bud?
We also get a flash to when I think the pee is happening. Another man, there's multiple people being tortured in this basement. Well, just new metal's chugging along as loud as it can go. And Dee Snider's talking about how the penis and how like the spiritual sensual expansion via genital piercings, all of this weird shit. He says there's a seplum spike, which is, I'm guessing, a penis. Oh, no, that's the industrial strength part. I thought we were already there. I don't think we're at that part yet. No, I don't think we're at the penis thing. But we'll quickly go on the penis thing. He's saying like, oh, and we need to... The way in which he's speaking and the dialogue he's saying is so like forced, but also not. It's weird.
It's like pretentious and like, I don't know. He acts like he's doing them a favor, like obviously. Like he's like, some women don't even have sex with you in this part of the country if you don't have one.
Yeah, and then he pierces his dick and it's like, whoa, hold on, sir.
Yeah. But basically, okay, cut back to where we were. The detective, the daddy detective is now like, okay, calls his niece, who's all like hip and whatnot, calls her and like, hey, can you come help me out? So she gets him into a chat room and then she types this weird fucking band name, allegedly is what it was.
Tinsel Butt Munch.
Period. Tinsel, blah. And then they get a phone call from... I don't know, someone going through all their records or something. And he's like, hey, so this is the last person that chatted with his daughter's username was like really inappropriate. It was like Miss XXX.
You got to have that type of name.
I guess. My Yahoo Messenger name was Daffy Duck 445566.
Mine was Pee Pee Fart Man.
I fucking hate you. Okay. So then what else happened?
He says like, oh, she last spoke in a DM with someone named
Captain Howdy.
Capital C APT capital H. Those capitals don't mean it. Like it's not case sensitive.
He just spelled out the username, but then they found him in like 30 seconds.
Early internet explanations in these types of movies are so funny with hindsight because, like, yeah, you don't need to explain how to find someone on the internet. I used to do that for a living.
Oh.
I used to be a professional social media stalker.
Really?
Yes, for customer service. I worked for a ticketing company, don't use them. Vivid Seats, or guess what? Any ticketing company that's a third party or Ticketmaster, they all suck.
Yeah.
So when someone would tweet at us, we would need to figure out, does this person have an order? And there would be some times when you would be able to find their order based off from their name or email address, anything along those lines. And there would be times when there would be just a single person saying like, fuck Vivid Seats. I hate them. Wasn't able to get into the concert tonight. And there are times when you don't want to respond to someone because it could just be someone who never had an order with us and is just mad at the company, as they should be for inflating ticket prices. But with just the tiniest minuscule of information of looking back in their tweets to see like, oh, they're excited about this tour from a tweet a month ago. Okay, I'm going to look. Oh, they're also from this city. Oh, that person is in that city tonight. Okay, let me look at all the orders. This person's name is Kathy. Let me control F, find all the Kathys who, oh my God, there's a Kathy who ordered for this. Oh, yep, they already called in and was already handled, but just left pissed. So I don't even need to respond to this tweet.
Wow, that's a lot of layers to that.
I was really good at it. I loved doing it. It made me feel creepy.
As it should.
It should. We also forgot to mention they go to that club and...
Oh, yeah, it's the Bulba.
What's his face? D. Snyder is in the back, like on a suspension thing, which is disgusting.
It was gnarly. And he's like, they do a weird flash scene and then it comes back to him and he's on the floor. Mm-hmm. Why aren't I dead?
The shamans call this the small death. I was crossing to the abyss. I was almost there.
So dumb.
Which is like, dude, if you want to die this bad, just either get help or do it. You don't need to involve other people.
Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Okay, maybe not in this. We should not be putting that into the world for this specific thing.
I know, at myself.
On Engage with Nicolas Cage, we were discussing National Treasure, and in that, he like makes blood by cutting his thumb a little bit and then putting it on like this rolling thing to make a print, a stamp of it, if you will. And Nicole's like, oh, like, why would you, don't do that on your thumb. You got to use that. And I go, yeah, the correct way to draw blood is going vertical down your wrist. And Nicole's like, no, James, no. Wow, is that really, what part is my pills? But why is the pee trough there? What part? When was this man taking pills, but also pee trough? I don't know why I put down my pills, because my pills should be like way far down here.
Yeah, that's further.
There had to have been another part where someone was screaming about their pills. I don't know, but hey, or maybe I meant to say my dills, like my deedle. I don't know, but yeah, we have a pee trough.
My bills.
Oh, Buffalo Bills, guys. Yeah, there's a pee trough.
Oh, yeah. There's a couple, I assume.
Again, like, if this weren't torture porny, this would have been extremely hot.
So do we just assume he pierced Linda Cardellini's vagine?
I hope not. I find any piercings anywhere are cool with me, but the genitals are so beautiful in nature, I don't think they need any modifications.
I think vaginas look weird.
No, vaginas are perfect. Get out of here. Penises can be a little freaky.
Penises are funny. They all look the same to me.
Well, you have two different kinds. You have a circumcised and an uncircumcised.
I've only seen one uncircumcised dick before, and it caught me by surprise.
Yeah. Nicole has said, like, the most frequent visual of a penis people see is a circumcised, at least in the United States of America. And Nicole's like, I'm so glad that like James had a circumcised penis, because if he didn't, I would be like, Mom, why didn't you warn me about this? Like that there's penises can look different and one is natural and the normal thing is unnatural.
Yeah. Oh, just I'm having like flashbacks.
Of what? The the uncut?
Yeah, the whole helmet and everything.
It's cool.
It was I didn't like the way I stumbled upon one.
Oh, how did you stumble upon it? Oh, you were on Stumble Upon, the old social media network?
Yeah. I don't think it's appropriate. I don't know who listens to this, but I really want to tell you, but I don't think I will.
Okay, all right. We can blank it out. You're like, it's actually Ian.
No, I got really drunk at my metal shop job and I hooked up with one of my coworkers, and this is why I don't ever do that. But yeah, we were like in the dark and I like gave him a BJ and it was full.
You were like, oh, did you put gum on? Did I have gum in my mouth? What's chewy down here?
I was like, oh, hello there. Like there's more to this than meets the eye.
It's like when you bite into chicken, but you didn't know the skin was still on there, and then you're like, oh, what's this?
Yeah, I was like.
What you did was kind of like Oh, I just had something sour in my mouth.
Yeah, it was wild ass shit.
I will bleep out the situation where you stumbled upon this on Stumble Upon, and everything else I will leave.
Just leave the whole thing in there. It's fine.
Okay, all right. But they end up figuring out like where this person lives. Or was given an address via instant messenger, but it's, oh, my pills was the guy, the old man.
The old guy.
They were having sex, at which his heart's fine then, but once a bunch of, which, you know, you should start being startled when SWAT team come in on you and your wife having sex, and he goes, my pills. It's very funny.
And then they just like hand him to him really awkwardly.
They're like, yeah, well, we don't have any water, but we'll spit in your mouth.
Ew.
One thing that has been, I'm doing things that Nicole is just like disgusted by, but aren't disgusting things. I have been training myself to take pills dry to swallow them, and Nicole finds it disgusting. And so much so that I'll be like, hey, Nicole. And she's like, oh, no, did you just take a pill without water? I said, I sure did. When the end of times comes, I'll be ready.
I do that every day with my heartburn and my prenatal pill.
But you're postnatal now.
Yeah.
What's a postnatal pill?
It's like right after you give birth, but they're so expensive. I'm like, I'm not going to fucking buy this shit, but I'm still breastfeeding, so I want all the good stuff.
Okay.
So I still take my prenatals, and they do wonderful things for your hair.
Wait, so there are postnatal pills?
Yeah, there are, because I almost bought some, and I'm like, fuck this.
Postnatal pill for me is some morphine.
Ugh.
I want to say propofol.
I don't know what that is.
It's what a lot of the rock stars in like 2016-ish were getting hooked on. It's why Prince and Michael Jackson passed away, I believe.
Oh, that shit.
Which, hey,
got it.
They gave me some of that when I had an endoscopy. I understand why someone would get addicted to it.
Is it a narcotic?
It makes you fall asleep, and I had the greatest I was like, I'm well rested. Everyone was like, oh, you'll need someone to bring you home. And I woke up shadow boxing because it was the best sleep I've had in it. I was maybe out for 45 minutes, but it felt like I had slept for 12 hours.
Wild.
It was great. Where's the hookup on the prof, guys?
I know.
I really don't want to do that.
I do.
No, don't.
Hit me up at Hide a Horror.
No. You also, a good thing you don't know our actual handles.
Exactly.
I think Twitter is Hide of Horror.
Don't do that, actually. I'm recovering.
Our first fortnight of horror that I did on Looker on Facebook Reels, it's gotten over 1,000 views.
Oh.
So that's exciting. Follow us on TikTok, HOH Pod. Okay. So
then what had happened was it jumps to the next morning, and the detective's sitting there all sad boy hour in his car, and then he gets a voice message from this motherfucker.
Which I think he's on the internet, because if you see, he plugs in his telephone into his cell phone, I should say, because he's in his car, into his laptop in order to get internet on that laptop. It's very like convoluted to do it, but people used to be able to do that. And he gets not only a like digital file of audio sent to him, it is one in stereo, so that means it's even larger, even though it's a mono recording. It could just be one thing. And on top of that, the sound fidelity of this recording is so great. No way in 1998 you could send that.
No.
Because MP3s were just starting, and it's not like they had the 320 kilobytes that we have now.
Mm-hmm. Basically, they're going back and forth, and then Dee Snider's character goes, find me. And then he walks up this driveway and then goes in the backyard, and then there's a fucking garbage bag full of needles just chilling. And he pokes at it like a dumbass. And he's like, hey, this is the house.
No, that's good. He should do that to make sure it is the needles.
They're fucking 30 poking out of one side. What if one stabbed him?
What if it was a porcupine who got caught in there, huh?
That's how you get HIV.
No, this is how you rescue a porcupine being asphyxiated. Some probably dirtbag kid threw one in the bag and said, I'd like to see you get out of there, Sonic.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Not knowing that Sonic's a hedgehog and not a porcupine. There's a difference. He also knows that this person's in the area because baked into the recording is a dog who is barking.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
I like that detail. It's very good. Cool. And that's why he's like, oh, he's somewhere here. And suburbia is the perfect place for horror movies. Yes, what's it face? The forest with camping. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But I feel like campground should be a cozy place. Don't throw horror movies in there. Do like Camp Nowhere or Little Darlings. That's the kind of camping we want. But big cities aren't that great. Maybe Scream 6 will do it nice. Who knows? But
doubtful.
I like suburbia because it is the juxtaposition of this is the safe space. Oh, nothing bad happens here. Michael Meyer.
I just wanted to know how he afforded that house too.
Maybe he does body modifications for others.
Because that's a big ass house and he turned that whole thing into like this dungeon.
Maybe because he doesn't care about life or death. He has one of those jobs that no one wants to do. You know, a dirty job, Mike Rowe style, where it's like, oh, you're going to be paid $40 an hour in 1998 to climb up a cell tower.
Fair enough.
Could be that. And he's like, oh, and that no one's up there. And it's not like he has body cams and whatnot or like a walkie-talkie. He's that high up on the edge just jacking off. And he's like, I could die at any moment.
Gross.
I could slip on my cum and fall to my death.
Ew.
And then I'd have an aftershock while falling because that's how horned up I am.
Great. So this cop goes into the house. That's just bad copying, though, right? Like, all cops are fucking asshole pricks, but this is just a bad idea because he goes in by himself, like, no warrant. I guess I was thinking about this, though. I think the needles are probable cause.
I mean, the needles stringed for him to go into that specific house, and the dog barking is also going to say, like, it places this individual in this area, awesome, and then, oh, the needles, and on top of that, clearly this individual was giving addresses nearby, so it wasn't a direct thing. So it could be like, oh, I'm going to wait outside for this individual and be like, hey, I'm over here. Sorry, gave you the wrong address. Go in, and then you're just getting tortured as hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, wait for the backup.
Yes, exactly.
So we then finally see Captain Howdy in all his figure, and this is why I will never get this buff, because it will go to your head, and then you do a vanity project like this.
His hair's pretty wild, too.
Guys, never trust a white person with dreads. Because he does, and it's like, get out of here, dude.
I know, and they're pink.
Or bright red? Were they pink?
I swear to God, it's pink.
Okay, I will concede to that because on most of the podcasts I do, I'll say like, oh yeah, the person with this color hair, and they're like, no one has that hair color. Do you mean this person? I was like, yeah, they have blonde hair, and they're like, no, that's brown hair, or vice versa.
Yeah, no, it was pink, I promise you.
Okay. All right.
Oh, wait, no. Okay, we also skipped the part where they got the autopsy back for that chick, and she died of like a heart attack, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that happened too. The woman in the trunk with her mouth sewed shut, she had a heart defect. And with everything that was going on, like the fucking mouth thing, probably piercings all over her body, she died from complications from her heart defect.
Which let the daddy detective know, like, okay, this isn't a murderer. This is just an individual who tortures people. So I don't need to be extremely alarmed that my child is dead right now. There is hope for her to still be alive because her friend had a pre-existing heart condition, and that's what killed her.
Yes.
And then I wrote down, this took a fucking turn because 4 years later, this man's arrested and they say, oh, he's out. He's fine, which is baffling.
Yeah, that's like the whole thing. Like, he's rehabilitated. And that's why I mentioned the chick, because she didn't get murdered. She died from herself, basically. Her body failed her.
He says, like, yeah, I'm going back home. I'm going to make sure to take my pills. And it's crazy that one, like, oh, how did he pay for this? Maybe it was a family house and it's just there. Yeah. But the fact that you're going back to the place 4 years later, this is everyone still living here. It is fresh in their mind. If you are in middle school, you are now a senior. You are aware of this story. It's not like 20 years later when some people are moved on, they've left, they've died. No, this is a high school period of time. And you're going back?
They set him up for failure. My note is, why not go somewhere new where no one fucking knows you?
Mm-hmm. Or why not just like, if I all of a sudden am clear of mind, I would start being like, you want to know what? I cannot get out right now. I need to start acting as if I've transgressed a little bit and not like ace all these tests that the state is giving me, because like he is technically in a good place and cured. Even though there are times when mental illness in old movies are portrayed in the wrong light, this is just portrayed unscientifically because some street justice happens with Robert Englund that we'll get into more of that in a little bit. But while we're on this subject, it takes a week or so for like antipsychotics to start taking effect. And then it will take a week of monstrous, horrible withdrawals for you to revert to like exactly. This man is just like instantly, whoop, I got choked out and then, ooh, what a rush.
Yeah. Because he's so docile when he gets out. He's just like, hey guys, I'm better now. I'm sorry for everything.
I got a cardigan. Also, wait, he has that hair, and then like I get like he wiped off the makeup because that's what was keeping his tattoos away, but the piercings would have healed. He all of a sudden has those piercings, and his hair is back to being bright red and in dreads.
Maybe that's a wig too.
I don't know. It's weird. Oh.
What?
Maybe he has always had the dreads, but he actually put a wig on within the character of the movie to be like, oh, I still want my dreads, but I'll look kooky if I have those.
There you go.
Oh, why go back home? And then we get Robert Englund. I forgot he was in this movie until he shows up and he's like, we're going to get that boy. And don't let any Trumpers see signs from these protesters, because one says castration for defamation.
Yes.
And people would be like, oh man, they're defaming me on CNN. I got to castrate them.
Did you see the sign that says, we're not going to take it?
That was one of the IMDb trivias.
Yeah, and that's the Twisted Sister song.
I did listen to the song that this movie is based off from. It's good, but it's 7 minutes long.
Fuck.
Yeah. It's like 3 individual songs put into one.
Interesting.
Then we get a mom named Sunny, and she is with the Christians Against Moral Decay. And I'm like, don't bring God into this monster. Like, this is rock and roll didn't do this to this person.
Yeah.
But Robert Englund, he's like, hey, where's my daughter at? This monster must have my daughter. He isn't really rehabilitated. But then it flashes to her, like, which he originally said, your daughter's probably out having sex with a high school football player, which I'm like, is she in high school? And is she having sex? Why did he signify a high school football player?
Yeah. I don't know.
I think she might be in college having sex with high schoolers.
Ew.
Hope not.
They're both in high school.
Fingers crossed that, but then just say like with one of the boys on the football team.
Just say she's out having sex with someone.
Yeah. No, he wants at least like, hey, if my daughter's gonna be promiscuous, better be with someone on the football team. That's good for high status in life. Like if you had a daughter, wouldn't you want her having sex with a cool guy, not a nerd?
No, I don't want her having sex at all.
No, daughters are going to have sex. Might as well be with a cool person.
Cool. Fair enough.
All right. AKA a horror fan.
Mm-hmm.
No, let's just A homegrown Christian. That's what you want your son or daughter to wind up with.
That's kind of the worst case scenario for me.
The worst case scenario for me is I have a child?
Yeah, I would hope not. That would not be your baby.
Or I can sue someone.
Yeah.
Do men really pass out right after having sex? That's always in movies.
No. You know what Ian does? He gets a big swig of juice.
A big swig of juice. That's very cute. That's adorable. What kind of juice?
It really is. It depends. We get V8 a lot or orange juice.
I just go in cleanup mode.
Fair enough.
You have to.
Yeah, it's all sticky.
Yeah. Or I'm not going to get like more because like sticky's like, oh, that's a. But if other signifiers are like, okay, James, that's going a little too far.
Okay, moving on.
Robert Englund is at the forefront of mob justice this time instead of, the victim of it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They beat the shit out of him and then steal him. They kidnap him.
Yeah. And then they like hang him.
Yeah, but then it flashes to the detective outside his house, too. And then they just make eye contact. Then they run over his pills that keep him a docile good boy. And then they fucking hang him like 2 inches off the fucking ground.
Yeah, and D. Snyder's tall as shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm talking like a tall ass shit, like a whale done did it.
Yeah, I kind of felt a little bad for him, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, because this man did technically, even though it was 4 years and it seems like that wasn't long enough, because the 4 years should have taught him like, hey, which is also, I guess, just scientifically, they don't do mental illness justice in this because you would start seeing the patterns of like, oh, shoot, I am starting to revert. I need to do something. Here are my sponsors or a hospital I can call to get these psychotics because I need them and I need to be in a safe spot. He should have known that stuff, but maybe it's because like, oh, I was at the brink of death and that sobered, in quotes, sobered me up. I don't know, but seeing him at a dinner table, like how I eat by myself when Nicole's not here, it really like he's sympathetic now. Because he has changed, but wowzers, he also changes so quickly where you're like, oh, maybe he wasn't really changed.
Yeah. Yeah, like it was a little facade.
What a rush.
I fucking hated that. And they just left so quickly, too. It was so dumb.
And not just that, like this is the same exact night. Robert Englund mob murders a man, at least in his mind. And then he is so suave and also horny enough to convince his wife to have sexy time. Well, he's spread eagle in a Speedo watching porn and he's like, hey, hurry up. I'm about to lose my heart on.
And it was the worst porn I've ever seen.
Like so much so I thought he was watching a snuff film.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, what the fuck is this motherfucker watching? And it's just some really old guy and some chick that looked like she was about to get R-worded.
Yeah. I also felt like I at first thought it was not Robert Englund. I thought it was one of the cops looking at video from like a sex working sting. Because that's what it seemed like. It was creepy. And how D. Snyder, because I was like, why is this woman dancing with a cut throat? But then it's like D. Snyder's behind her making her a puppet, which I guess is funny.
I hated it. I was looking away because I'm like, why is this going to scare me so bad? Because like, how could you not tell for one, like this motherfucker's like being all dumb. And it was a long scene. It was really, really long of him just dancing with this corpse.
It did like turn my stomach. And then we see Robert Englund pubes because he's been kidnapped along with Sonny, the Christian against moral decay, cammed. Yeah, cammed. And then we find out Linda Cardellini has also been kidnapped yet again because we get a webcam with Cardellini's parents, the detective dad and the mom, and Captain Howdy. And I will say they at least attempted to make the webcam recording look like a webcam recording because it's like, I don't know, 5 frames per second. That's pretty cool. But the fidelity of each frame was pretty high. But for a movie of the time, they at least attempted to make it look like a webcam. Who said what? Oh, after like they were trying to like triangulate the connection, which I don't think you can do on the internet. Maybe you can, but it ends. And the detective, the partner who is on the line, looks and he's like, what? What's going on? You are in the same room, sir. You know what's going on. And they're like, oh, what was God thinking when he made Captain Howdy? And the other one says, what makes you think it was God?
Drama.
And then they end up meeting each other in a church. They battle it out.
Well, they find them. Where did they find him at? Like it wasn't a house.
It was, I think, like a loft area.
Yeah, and none of them were dead. Even Robert Englund was just like, oh my fuck, he was all wily-eyed.
Because I think his nipple was pierced and that's all he got.
No. What?
Oh, I thought maybe I looked away and maybe I had to go to the bathroom.
Robert Englund?
Yeah.
He fucked his shit up. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I thought he just pierced his nipple and then I think I went out of the room.
His eyes were sewn shut. His mouth was sewn shut. He pierced his whole body and he had him hanging from all of his piercings and his skin was all stretched out.
Oh, I did not notice that.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, he fucked him up.
I thought he was like on a plank.
No, he was hanging from his piercings all over his body.
Oh, I guess I just didn't notice that part.
You didn't notice his eyes and mouth were sewn shut?
Maybe I did notice that. I was focused on his pubes.
Okay, fair enough.
My eyes... When someone's fully clothed, but they have like hard nipples, hey, I'm focused on that. Or if they are fully clothed and they have camel toe or moose knuckle, focused on that. But if they're naked and you can see pubes, which you rarely see, hey, my eyes are darted to there.
Yeah, no, it was more than a nipple.
Or if they're fully clothed and like you can see their pubes somehow, I'm darting to there. And then they meet in that old club, maybe? Or is it a church?
It was a church.
Okay, I was thinking it was the
church.
Club. Because it would make sense. Like the club got shut down 4 years later. Oh, let's go to this place where... Yeah, because the things were hanging.
I swear to God, it's a church.
I think it's a club that looks like a church.
Okay.
Like the Excalibur here in Chicago.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
Let us know, guys. Because it looked like a club on the inside, like when he first gets there. And he like walks in, Detective Dad, and music is blaring. And he goes, Captain Howdy or Charleston, whatever his name is. And then immediately music turns off. It's so loud. And you hear Dee Snider go, what? He would have never heard that.
Yeah. And he's like, call me Captain Howdy.
Uh-huh. And then they get into a scuffle. And then he gets suspended in the air and wax on him, lit on fire. He dead.
That was not wax. That was kerosene.
It was wax, guys.
Oh my God. Okay. It was wax.
Detective Dad should have died, though. He was shit.
He was shit.
Like his daughter, that second time of her getting tortured, he's like, oh yeah, tell internal affairs I did this and I'll be at the hospital. And he's like, oh, are you hurt? No, I'm going to see my family. Your family doesn't want to see you, sir.
Yeah. You're getting divorced.
Yeah. Your daughter is going to college and writing you out of her life.
Yep.
And that's the movie.
Yeah, that's literally how it ends.
Out of 5 stars, what would you give it?
11.
Whoa.
I fucking love this movie. I've always loved it.
I think this, besides Carnival of Souls, is my lowest rated, but I still give it a 3 out of 5.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
With a heart, I enjoyed it. At first, the dialogue, I was like, oh man, I wish I could wake up Nicole to watch this. Then the movie actually starts taking place, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad Nicole is not watching this.
You like this more than the fucking Christopher Walken, or you like this less than the Christopher Walken Irish movie?
I would rewatch the Christopher Walken Irish movie, which is called The Eternal.
There we go.
That's one you constantly keep forgetting. I'm like, it's The Eternal. Just take the Marvels, The Eternals, and make it non-pluralized.
Okay.
And that's the movie. Do you want to get into this ding-dang Bucketstein?
I do. I really do.
What are we going to get? I hope our next episode or the following episode, either one in March, is Phantom of the Opera, because Nicole doesn't have to do a single Patreon episode, because over on patreon.com/MLM pod, just like last March when it was just Lil Corey and I doing nothing but This Existed, hey, there were 4 Fridays in that month. We can finally do the quadrilogy I've always wanted to show him. It was 3 ninjas, 1, 2, 3, and 4. But this month, we are doing nothing but trauma movies. First up is Class of Nukem High. I'm choosing the good ones that I think Corey will enjoy, not just like the extreme trash that they put out. Class of Nukem High is our first week. Father's Day, which is by the Astron 6 guys, which also did The Editor and Psycho Gorman. Then Monster in the Closet, which is more of a like kind of PG-13 kids movie, which I really enjoy. And closing the month out with Beware Children at Play, which if you've seen that movie, you know how it ends, and that's why I chose that movie. But we are doing on straight to Patreon for our $10 patrons. This is one of the trash movies. Nicole picked it for some weird reason. She loves this movie, The Evolved Part 1. Now that is trauma trash. But let's figure out what we're doing next week or next episode.
Yeah. I hated that noise.
Nicole said something. Nicole, you can come in and scream it into the mic.
Oh, I thought that was you bending down.
Oh, no, that part was me. Nicole's saying something. I don't know what she's doing. Wait, Nicole, do you want to pick the from Bucketstein? Okay, what were you saying?
It's Trauma Gold.
Oh, Nicole said it's Trauma Gold, not Trauma Trash. Oh my God.
Go for gold?
Did Ian get shrunk down?
Yeah, this is my husband.
Oh no. Ian got Benjamin buttoned.
What if he just started speaking complete sentences at you?
Oh, what if all of a sudden it's just Ian and him had Freaky Friday'd? Just palming the microphone. All right. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
All right. Next episode, we will be doing the South Korean hit series, the first installment, Whispering Corridors.
Oh, shit. Cool beans.
Whispering Horror Corridors.
Oh.
Well, it's insane that we haven't gotten Bride of Chucky yet.
I know. I was thinking that too. I'm like, all right.
It's Bride of Chucky, Puppet Master, and Phantom.
Cool.
And that's it.
Wow, we're almost done.
Uh-huh. I will have to figure out how to watch Whispering Corridors because I doubt it is anywhere to see.
Okay, well, let me know.
But while I'm pulling this up, what you got to plug?
Oh, not much. I'm just our show. Me and you.
It's on places, but I'll figure out a way to download it so you don't have to go to a nefarious site.
Okay.
But you're just plugging our show?
Yeah.
All right, hell yeah. Hey guys, all I'm going to plug is patreon.com/MLM pod. Like I said, all month long trauma movies. If you like it, go for it. And even if you don't, you've never seen a trauma movie, I'm picking ones that my friend Corey will enjoy. Corey, I will say, one of his favorite movies is Terrifier, so his bar is more towards what trauma is giving. But I'll give you a spoiler. We already recorded the Class of Nukem High, and he is fully on board for trauma now.
Ian's upset.
Oh, what? You gave the baby back?
Oh, no. I was pretending that Jack was Ian again, going with our,
I forgot. Sorry. That's my
our
bad.
bit.
You say it again.
Ian's upset?
Oh, man. Yeah, I saw him. He's screaming. Oh, that poor little boy who's actually a man.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right, that's been our episode, guys. Let us know what you think.
I've been Presley.
And I've been James.
I got a situation.
Okay, all right. See you guys. We've been the height of horror. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, and if you don't like this, that there's a baby screaming, you don't respect mother, so get the fuck out of here, listeners.
Get
Bye. And hey, if you get fucked, you might make a baby. So hey, you could be a mother someday too. Bye. All right, I am recording. I do really want you to, besides like my notes and trivia, I want you to really be taking us through this plot and everything since you seem to love this one so much.
Look at my notes. I actually have more notes.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, that's not that many notes. I'm glad we're recording this because this will be a blooper. If it's like normally you put 3 lines of notes, that's maybe 10 lines, which exponentially is more, but I have a full page. These are all of my notes.
You have a lot more than I
do. We should take pictures of you screenshot your notes and I'll take a picture of my written out notes.
I'll do that.
People can see the two.
Oh my God. Well, my thing is I write down my note, and then in my head, I'm like, okay, and then I'll expand on it when we're recording.
Oh, yeah.